If you're so burned out that you can't even think about moving forward because you're just so exhausted, I want you to do this. Set the expectation and hold the line. You may think that you have clearly defined the expectations for your team, but it could be that there is a lack of communication and clarity in that expectation. And not just in the expectation, but what happens next if the expectation is not met. If you have a task, a doctor, for example. My sister and I were just talking about a problem that she's having at work where a doctor, a physician, is not doing the minimum requirement of their job. And it is negatively impacting everyone around them except the doctor. Why should he try to meet that minimum guideline if there's really no ramification for him? And the ramifications don't have to be negative. Sometimes you just need to coach people a little bit more or pair them up with a coworker that might have some strengths that can help meet them or get them over that hurdle that they're moving through. But when you have clearly defined the expectation, what success looks like, and the timeline with which it needs to be done, and they still aren't meeting that need, they're not meeting that goal, then there has got to be a what happens next. There has to be either a negative consequence, there needs to be follow-up, there needs to be coaching, there needs to be mentoring. Something has to happen. Otherwise, you as the leader are going to continue staying in burnout because you are beating your head against the wall, expecting a new result because they aren't giving you what you're asking for. And they're not doing it likely because you haven't clarified for them. And then there's no consequence for them not getting it done. So what I want you to do is take a step back and think through, have you clearly defined those expectations? And if you have, and you've had conversations with them and they're still not meeting it, what are your next steps? What are you doing to course correct? Because they're not going to do it on their own. There has got to be accountability, and that individual, that person, that team needs to take ownership of their actions or lack thereof. My name is Jean. I've been a corporate exec for almost 15 years. This is where I'm sharing my tips, tricks, trials, and tribulations in my time as a corporate executive, so you don't have to make the mistakes that I did, or I can help you minimize those. So if you want more, follow along. And as always, stay untamed.